Hey guys, it's Jeremy. It's Memorial Day weekend. Screwed that up. Hold on. Didn't damage the phone, thank God. Let's see here. Oh, I'm screwing this all up. That's okay though. Meh. That's good enough. Maybe. Alright, it'll be kind of at an angle, you'll have to deal. There we go. Yeah, we're really new at this whole videotaping everything thing because, you know, poor men. Anyway, it's Memorial Day weekend, and I have decided that since Skirmish came out and we've got a lot of gray minis on the board, I'm actually going to try and get all of our warbands painted. Well, no, I'm going to get all of our warbands painted, or at least me, Shane's... Sorry, I just woke up. My warband, Shane and Cameron's warbands, respectively, because we want painted models on the board, or at least I want painted models on the board. So currently I'm working on some Bloodletters and the Herald because they share the same color scheme. Why not paint them at the same time? Also doing Cameron's 3 models, his Relictor, who he wants done in gold, and his regular Jerks, who are going to be painted as the Silver Stormcast, I don't know. Also 5 Blood Reavers, my 2 Ungors, and my Shaman, and my Bestigor. So I'm just going to sit here and ramble while I paint. Talk about my painting, talk about really whatever. Right now, I've got a base of Corn Red on the Bloodletters and the Herald. I'm calling him Jimmy. I could be like everyone else on the internet and call him Harold, because but nah, his name is Jimmy for now, until Shane picks a better name. But yeah. Next up, coat of Null Oil. All over them, because that's what you do. Just shade. Shading is awesome. Anyway, I've got whenever I paint, I like to have background noise. So right now we're watching Lucio Fulci's Zombie. Classic, love it, gory as hell. But it's really good to have background noise, I've noticed, when you're painting music, movie, what have you. Doesn't really matter as long as it's something that you don't want to divorce yourself completely from reality when you're painting, or you get sucked into a void and it gets kind of depressing. In my experience, I mean, I don't speak for everyone, but I like to have something going on in the background. Just oddly, it keeps me focused. But yeah, I've been doing Warhammer for, I want to say, 5-6 years, something like that. My painting was atrocious, as everyone's is when they start. And actually, ironically, the very first model I ever painted was a Bloodletter. They were bad. They were so bad. I did a 1 coat of Corn Red, and then I dry brushed them with Hashit Copper, and that was it. That's all I did. Put some silver on their swords, I think. I might put a picture at the end of this. I don't know. But yeah, as far as hobbies goes, honestly, this is the one that I've found that I always come back to. I mean, I dabble here and there in video games. I've played D&D because everyone has played D&D. But I always fall out of that because I just get bored with it. My character doesn't go where I want it to, or something happens, or I run a game and it just goes all shithouse. So that's the end of that. Warhammer I always come back to. Versus games like Magic or D&D. I think that's because, yes, you're buying, miniatures that are supposed to be built in a certain way, but there's a lot of customizing options. I mean, shit, go online, look up kit bashing, look up really any kind of conversion. There's a lot of customization available in Warhammer that I appreciate. And also, there's something about picking up a model, building it, taking the time, cutting it out, gluing it, and then painting it however the hell you want. I mean, doesn't matter. I could paint these Bloodletters pink. I'm not going to, because that's what Finch is for. But there's something really gratifying about looking at an army when it's painted and thinking, I did this. This is mine. This is my work. This is my creativity. This is something that I have done. And it gives you a really good sense of accomplishment, which I really love about this hobby. And some of the models are awesome. Like, I may get Beastclaw Raiders at some point. I don't know. I also can't see who's viewing me, but hello. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the hobby's expensive. It is, but all hobbies are expensive. That's part of what makes them a hobby, really, is its dedication of your time, effort, and funds. And that's what I really like about Skirmish, though. I really like this because it's not that big of an initial investment. I mean, yeah, it is, because you got to buy your paints and your primers and the models, and you got to clip them out and do all that. But compared to building, like, say, a 1,000-point army, it's relatively inexpensive. I mean, except for maybe the Beast Claw Raiders. What is it, like $60 for, what is it? The big goat monster they get, and a pack of Mornfang gives you 4 guys, split them into squads of 2. There you go, 1,000-point army right there. And that's relatively inexpensive if you want to play the Beast Claw Raiders. But that's one of the rare exceptions. Like if you want to do something like Disciples of Tzeentch, you could finagle that, but it's not going to be cheap. I mean, not comparatively cheap. But with Skirmish, I mean, Shane's going to have 8 models to start with. I'm going to have 4, and Cameron's going to have 3. And I'm relatively confident I can crank these out in a weekend, and I need a bigger brush for this. We're going to go... Oh, also, fun fact about my painting style, I do not take care of my brushes. I don't. Because you can always buy another brush. You always can. I'm really rough on my brushes. Trying to think of other things to talk about to make this not boring for you. I think the reason that I started doing the YouTube channel, and I'm never going to be mini wargaming. I'm never going to be... Oh, God. I'm blanking on whether or not it's Sacred Cast or Scarred Cast or whatever, but him. I'm not going to be Bitsbox. I'm not going to be any of these guys. We're just doing this because it's a hobby we're all really digging, me especially, because this is... I mean, God, I pray no one ever finds out how much I've actually spent on this. I've got maybe 6 different Age of Sigmar forces I can pull up from various factions. It's probably easier to count the 40k armies I don't have. Admech. Oh, I've also got Death Guard for 30k. Because, yeah, Mortarian. Let's go ahead and get the other love letter done. Let's see here. There we go. Thing I've noted about my painting style, actually, I'm a really big fan in certain cases, like especially with like guns. Paint silver, wash black, and leave it. Because I hate edge highlighting or dry brushing gunmetal specifically. Like swords I can get because they've got sharp edges. They're supposed to have sharp edges. But with guns, I feel like, what's the point of edge highlighting? Because you're in battle, you're in the mud, you're running through debris, all that. Guns aren't going to be shiny and perfect. Yeah. If you look at the fluff art for any Space Marines, they're all magnificent. But no, I don't like that. I don't. I feel like guns should just be a dark gunmetal. That's the best way I can describe it. But yeah. 15 models in a weekend, it doesn't sound like much, but when you're as pessimistic and perfectionist as I am, it can add up rather quickly. Yeah, sorry if this is boring. I just wanted to sit here and ramble. But yeah. All right, let's see. Wash done. And finally, Jimmy. Yeah. But if this channel ever gets big, or at least big-ish comparatively to what it is now, I think we've got 7 followers. Love all of you, even though I'm pretty sure like 4 of those are us. Yeah, I'd like to get more armies. I'd like to do more battle reports. I'd like to have, good editing, as opposed to everything we do, I do on my iPhone, and then I edit in iMovie. Everything. Because, yeah, that's just easier. So that explains some of the crap quality of some of our videos. But what we're going to do for Skirmish is we may just, instead of, cutting in and out here and there and resuming the action later, we're probably just going to record the whole game because it's a half hour and the game's done, really. They're really quick. It goes fast. So that's what we may do for that. And we're still going to do regular battle reports, but we're going to see how deeply entrenched in the Skirmish we get. and then we'll kind of go from there, play it by ear. This is why I appreciate corn models. They are dreadfully easy to paint. Dreadfully. Need more wash. Also, I'm relatively happy with that conversion, kit bash, whatever you want to call it. That's actually the rock from a zombie dragon, and that's the herald from a blood throne. Just pop them on there. Done. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's a conversion. Oh, I cut off his chains and added chains holding skulls because, you know, corn. We're still debating on warband names. Shane may go with cornflakes. I may hit him if he does, but he may do that. And we're still trying to finagle Sean into playing my death guys in Skirmish because they're all pre-painted. They're all ready for him. He keeps talking about how he might want to do this. So we will cross that bridge when we get there. No. And actually, I think another good thing about this video or recording painting in general is it gives me motivation. Like I think that's a lot of people's problem with getting their shit painted is motivation to do it. You got to sit down and you got to dedicate hours of your life to making things look the way you want them to look, which is respectable, and a lot of people can get down on that easy, but I have deep motivational issues just because, you know, life, it happens. I mean, Zombie Dragon's been sitting on my desk like that for about 3 days now, nowhere close to done. Getting there, but that's still going to be a process. All right, so we're going to let them dry. And let's start getting base coats on the Blood Reavers. I think I'll just knock out a warband at a time. Now, for the Blood Reavers, I think I'm going to do a mix of light skin and dark skin. Because I've never done dark skin before. I'd like to try it. Let's see here. So we've got those 4. Oh, crap, I'm missing one. Nope, no I'm not. Alright, so for that, I'm going to need Rakarth flesh for the palish skin, and Dryad bark for the dark skin. Let's see what we got here. Oh, and I already had them both out. I am a fool. Alright, so I think we will... Alright, that one will be light. I want to do at least one of each because, I want to test light skin. I think it'd be very interesting. And so, let's see. One guy in light, one dark. Evens light, odds dark. Light. Dark. Dark. Alright. So, we'll go ahead and base coat the light skin fellas. Give me Rakarth flesh. I don't know why I keep apologizing, but if this, is boring, you don't find it interesting, that's fine. Again, we just want to share our hobby. We're not nearly as charismatic as Dave from Mini War Gaming, which seriously, check those guys out. They have inspired me so much. They really have. Like, if it wasn't for their bat reps years and years ago, I probably wouldn't have stuck around with this hobby. But no, they were a really good inspiration. Who else? Girl painting. I love Alexandra. I used to watch her painting tutorials all the time, like all the time. And I learned a lot from those. Kind of branched out and started doing my own thing because she does a lot of layering. Not so much layering, but edge highlighting and layer highlighting. If I can dry brush something, I will. If there is a feasible way for me to get that done without having to layer over it, I will do that. And that's just because layer highlighting takes so long. And I get that, that's bound to happen with this, but I don't like it. I think dry brush gives a more natural gradient as opposed to what a layer would. It looks too comic booky for me, if that makes sense. Like super defined muscles. Like, no, nobody has super defined muscles. No one. So, yeah, I'm not big on that. I mean, like armor plates, that's fine, but for actual skin, I prefer dry brushing as much as possible. And even then, if I can dry brush armor, I will. Let's see here. Alright, that is a base coat done on him. And always do 2 layers. I mean, if of a base color, you always want to do 2 because you want that solid coat. Like, watch Warhammer's fucking paint tutorials that they got on their channel. I learned a lot from Duncan Rhodes, who, God, I love his voice. He could impregnate me with his voice. He really could. I love Duncan Rhodes. Let's see here. Yeah, these Khorne Bloodbound have been sitting on my shelf since Sigmar launched, actually. I just never did anything with them. Because I remember when the hobby initially launched, everyone in my local store was like, oh, it's not fantasy. Well, no, they weren't nearly as internet douchey as the internet douchebags have been. But there was some dissent. Let's just put it that way. I was really the only person locally that was genuinely excited about this. Hey, Sean. And I still am, and I've actually gotten a few guys back into it because, frankly, the General's Handbook fixed it. It was not perfect in the beginning. Running your own comp systems sucked. Let's call it what it is. That sucked. But the General's Handbook fixed almost every complaint I have about the game. And I really don't have many. Actually, I can't really think of any that I have. Well, the Stormcast, they feel, cheese dick to me, but that could just be me. I feel like they're underpointed, but again, that could just be me. Let's see here. Alright, that's first layer done on him. We're gonna wash off our brush. Actually, just because I'm curious now. Let's see here. Stormcast Eternals. Retributors for 5, it's 220 points. 10 would net 440, which is the same price of a Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon, and they will just curb stomp him. Like, they will burn through him like nobody's business. If they get the charge. If he gets the charge, he'll hurt them. He'll hurt them a lot. But their capacity to just pump out ridiculous amounts of wounds at a really decent rend is, frankly, incredibly intimidating. So yeah, there's that. Alright, that's dry enough. Second coat. Definitely will have to stop this video at some point because I don't have the next layer I want for the pale skin, which is going to be Kislev flesh. A lot of my paint schemes, I follow GW. I mean, a lot of them I do. Some of them I don't. Some of them I do, like for my High Fleet Leviathan. Let's see if I got a good one. Ah, here's Mittens. That's Mittens. He just wants to hug. For the most part, I followed G-Dubs. Kind of took it on my own from there after you got the armor, the carapace done. But overall, I like their color schemes. I like how easy it is to get new hobbyists into the hobby because they post so many painting tutorials. But again, not a big fan of layer highlighting, so yeah. Like stuff on like blood letters, I mean, yeah, everyone dry brushes those. If you don't dry brush those and you layer highlight that, you are a fool. Well, not a fool, but you have way more dedication than I could ever muster. So, for the sake of argument, fool. I mean, maybe I'm just not that good and I'm bitter. I don't know. Alright. And yeah, you can be messy as hell during this stage because it doesn't matter. There you go. He's done. That's another thing I like about acrylics is they dry so fast. So fast. The washes, meh. Speaking of. And that'll be fine. Now they tell you not to let it pool in places, but sometimes I like to let washes pool in specific areas, like in the creases of legs or where the calf meets the pelvis. I like doing that because it kind of gives accentuation to where the legs branch off from. Yeah. Oh, crap. Well, I just noticed a piece of wayward plastic I didn't clip off this duder. Crisis averted. And I will just paint right over that little spot. Oh, look at that. And no one is the wiser. Unless you've watched this, in which case tell no one or I'll kill you. Alright, and he is done. Or at least that coat is done. The other roommate, the one we're trying to get into this, is meandering about the household. He may walk by. I don't know. That's it. Another good hobby hack. Blank CDs. Cheap, easy palette. Your paint dries out quickly, but work quickly. All right, Dryad bark for the dark skin fellas. Ooh, zombies. I wish I had more stuff to talk about. I'm sorry. I gotta quit apologizing, Jeremy. Do you? Yeah, I know, Jeremy. Let's see here. There we go. Dryad bark. All right. Oh, thin your paints. That's a good tip. I usually don't actually, because I like my minis to have a rough texture. So I don't normally thin. Stuff like any kind of bone color, I will thin because it dries and gets so flaky. You need to thin. You need to thin it. There's no way about it. Oh, anyone tells you that you need a specific kind of brush when you do this, you really don't. I prefer Army Painter or GW brushes. They keep their tips and they last a long time. Except for this medium base brush. That didn't last long. But these ones are Daler Rowney, $7 at Walmart. And they have lasted 3 or 4 years, something like that. They're all beat to shit. But when you're base coating, you don't need a fine tip. You really don't, unless initially anyway, you don't, because you're just slapping on color. I mean, the more base coats you put on of different colors, the more refined you want to make it. But for the initial coat, you don't need any refinement whatsoever. Just slap the paint on and go to the next one. Disclaimer, I will probably never win any kind of awards. I'll never go to Golden Demon, but that's not a goal that you should have as a painter in this hobby, is what I think. I think you should be able to slap down whatever color scheme you want, and I use the word slap down because some people just slap paint on the model in splotches and call it a day. And you know what? If you want to do that, that's fine. If you want to play with gray models, that's fine. But don't, as an amateur coming into this, build up to wanting to compete like Golden Demon, stuff like that. But don't make that your primary focus. Work on improving. Work on learning all the different nuances and tricks to painting these models. Basically, be happy with what you've got. I mean, I'm never going to win anything, but I'm happy with my work as a painter. I really am. I may not ever work in commission, may not do any of that crap, but that's fine because I'm satisfied with the work I'm putting out. And who knows, I may eBay some stuff eventually, but I don't like to. I like to hold on to my guys. I kind of totally just lost track of my point. And, yeah. Point is, be happy with what you do. I mean, there's no reason to. A lot of people, what I notice is if they want to be really good painters, and if they set themselves this lofty expectation in X amount of years, I'll be able to do this, blah blah blah, which I've seen happen. It's not often, but I've seen people like that, And it just ends in disappointment when they can't do it. Some people can. I mean, yes, some people definitely have what it takes to go all the way with that. But I prefer to look at it as, if I'm going to get better in overall, that's fantastic, awesome, great for me. But at the end of the day, I need to be happy with what I'm doing. And if you're not happy unless you're painting Golden Demon Standard, then by all means keep working at it. But generally, just be happy with what you got, I guess. I don't know. Again, I'm not really good at expressing my point here, but I think you know what I'm saying. I actually really, really like this skin tone already. I really do. Like just the initial coat of dryad bark, but I'm also more plastic. Another pro tip, actually make sure your models are all clipped and filed down or what have you. Don't be like me and wait till after you've primered it in a rush to learn that, oh crap. Alright, so that's him done. What other good things can I ramble about? Second coat of dryad bark going through. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to let these dry because I have to get Kislev flesh for the pale skins. I have to if I want to do the color scheme I want to do, which is actually the How to Paint Age of Sigmar tutorial they've got on the Warhammer TV's YouTube channel. That's what I'm doing for the pale skin ones. For the dark skin ones, Warhammer Tip of the Day, dark skin. And I get it, maybe, you know, cheesy that I'm following their color scheme, at least for that, but it works. It looks good. I'll be dry brushing it, but it looks good. Alright, that's second coat of dryad bark on him done. Oh, my poor cat is in heat. She's out the window just waiting to find a man. Sadly for her, ain't gonna happen. Bloodthirsters, the blood letters are still drying. God, painting 3 bloodthirsters right now. Could you imagine? Alright, so that's the dryad bark done. Let's see, can I start dry brushing these guys yet? Nope. Nope. And super nope. That's okay though. So we're gonna let them dry. So at least I got the first base coat and a wash on all of his models. That's good. As I said, I've got the whole weekend to do this. I am going to get it done. I'm specifically not looking forward to him because there's a lot of nooks and crannies, but I would like to make sure that we have completely painted models because I'm sick of seeing gray on the actual channel. So what we'll probably do is I'll get all these painted. And then as we build up our warbands, I'll just paint whatever models they take over the course of the next week. That'll put my other painting projects, like that damn dragon, on the back burner. But it's really good motivation. It really is. Like, we have a goal. And it's not like I'm painting a unit of 40 skeletons. That took me a week and a half just from procrastinating and not wanting to do it. With this, I'm actually excited to see all 3 warbands put together, painted, and all that. Dave's have been done for a while because he's just using all the stuff he already had painted. God help us all if he ever brings a Storm Fiend in. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wait for that to dry. I'm going to have to make a trip up to the store. Oh my god, I missed a spot. I'm going to have to take a trip to the store and get some Kislev flesh for the pale skin guys. Give that a couple more minutes to dry, and I'll hit them. Dark skin, wash it with a... It's going to be Dryad Bark, and then wash with Druchii Violet, and then layer over that, or dry brush, with Dryad Bark again, and then highlight with Gorthor Brown? Yeah, Gorthor Brown. And then Cadian Flesh Tone for the scarring and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done, and thanks for watching me ramble. See you guys later.